We are talking about slope and writing and graphing linear functions. So we want to be able to identify linear equations, find the slope of a line given a graph or 2 points on a line, and write a line in point slope from given 2 points on a line. Okay? And first thing that we want to kind of remember are some different ways that we can talk about x and y. So obviously, when we have an ordered pair, we always label them as x and y. X comes first, y comes second. There's some different ways that we can reference the variables, though. The x can be represented as the input or the independent. The input and the domain. The y is referenced by being the dependent variable. It could be the output or the range. All right, and then we want to remember the different slopes that we could have. So one way that really helps me remember different things is the slope monster. Has anyone heard of the slope monster before? All right, well, the slope monster will remind us of 4 different types of slope. We could have a slope that starts high and goes low. That would be a negative slope. We could also have a slope that starts low and goes high. That would be a positive slope. We could have a slope that goes straight up and down. That would be undefined. And we could have a slope that goes straight across. That would be a 0 slope. So we put the zeros on the side of the mouth. We have the U that represents undefined. From the bottom left, working up and right, that's positive. And starting high and working low, that is negative. So that can help us remember different types of slopes if we draw that on a quiz or a test. All right, now we're looking here and it says, what are some possible slopes? Well, we see that there's 4 that we drew up there, and so we're going to draw 4 possible slopes. The first one we're going to draw is positive. And if we draw this slope, basically all we have to do is we read a graph the same way we read paper. We start on the left and we work our way to the right. So a positive slope would be increasing from left to right, and it would look like that. That would be a positive slope. The next one we're going to look at, and as we can see, positive slope goes with the eyeball here, where it starts low by the nose and works its way up. The next one is a negative slope. And a negative slope is going to start high and go low. And then probably the most confused ones that we do, the difference between 0 and 0 is just going to be straight across. And this one is 0 because there's no vertical change. So later on, we get into the equation of rise over run. Basically, we have 0 over some distance, which is 0. And then the last one we have is undefined because we can't divide by 0. And so in this one, there's no horizontal change. And so when we write in our slope equation, we end up with 0 in the denominator, and then we can't divide by 0, so this becomes undefined.